I didn't win, and I remember being so upset. All right, I'm done. I'm never gonna put my skates on ever again.
Meet Ilana Sedka,
a 4-time U.S. gold medalist in figure skating.
From dazzling performances to inspiring the next generation, she's redefining excellence on and off the ice.
So why do you think a lot of girls just automatically do not believe in themselves?
People have to realize the only person in their way is themselves. So making sacrifices at a young age, waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, was not a normal thing.
Wow.
But without the sacrifices, you can't be successful. If there's one thing that I could leave everyone with is...
What's going on, friends? Thank you so much for tuning in for another great episode of Tom Talk Success, where we bring you a lot of people that want to level up, taking their life to the next step and really just growing and develop themselves. And today I have a true pleasure to introduce Ilana, who have done a lot of stuff in her life. She's a 4 times ice skating national in the US, and now she's currently transitioning herself into the sports, creating a great career in the Pilates space. Ilana, thank you so much for hopping on. How's your day going?
Amazing. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited
to
chat.
Of course.
I am so happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. So I guess let's just jump right into it. And so you started your way in the skating space, right? In the ice skating space. Was that always like your dream goal to be a national champion, or, you know, like kind of go big with it? Or was that something you just like as a hobby to do?
Yeah, so I started the sport when I was 4 years old, and I grew up in Long Island, where the hometown hero in my hometown was a national Olympic gold medalist,
Wow.
Sarah Hughes. She was the 2002 Olympic champion. So having that in my backyard was always inspiring, and I got into the sport shortly after at 4 years old. So having her banner at the rink every morning, looking at it, I was always inspired and always had a goal for myself to achieve greatness. And a few years later, I went to my first nationals when I was in 5th grade.
Wow, that's
And
crazy. Just in like a couple years.
Yeah, it was definitely something I always wanted, and over time I took year after year, got to where I wanted to be, and by the time I was in high school, I was winning gold medals and achieving my goals
Wow.
that I set when I was very young.
And so was that like your biggest goal was to be some sort of successful in it, or you just wanted to be kind of, let's see how my career will take me to?
I think I fell in love with it, and when you are passionate about something, you realistically just want to do it every single day. And doing it every single day, I got better and better, and my first competition was when I was 7, so I think naturally, what was the next step after winning my first competition locally? It was going to nationals, and you know, starting at the bottom. Like my first nationals, I didn't do well. I got 8th place, but every year it was like, okay, my next goal. What's my next goal? I want to get a medal. So then it was 3rd place. Then it was 2nd place.
Wow.
And then finally, by the time I achieved my goals, it was 2016. I was a sophomore in high school, and I won the gold. And I remember that feeling of just like, not only was it that season that I worked so hard, but it was from the time I first put my skates on when I was very young, that goal was something I always had, and it let me achieve and work every single day, work every single morning before school, and just get to where I was.
So what is about you that make you always being competitive? Like, is that something kind of you took it from your parents maybe, or from your family, or is that something you kind of develop over the years?
I think that's just something you develop over the years when you set a goal for yourself. So when you have a direction of where you know you want to go, it makes you competitive. And like, of course I was competing against other girls, but in the end of the day, it's you versus you. So if you have something you're passionate about and you want to get better, you're only competing against yourself. That's the biggest competitor, is who you were the day before.
So were you, like throughout your life, even today, are you intimidating by competition, or are you seeing competition as a good thing?
I always see competition as a good thing, because it leaves you wanting to be better. If there's someone there that is an inspiration to you, that you look up to, you can take that and desire to get there as well. So if someone's neck and neck with you and you see each other at the same playing field, or you're both trying to get the gold medal, where that leaves you is, you want to be that first place position. Second place, all that's going to do is drive you, get more hungry to work harder and be better.
I love it. So let's talk about when you started. So you mentioned kind of in the beginning, you wasn't getting the first, the second place. It took you some time to get there. But once you got there, what do you think, looking back at it, made you get there? Like, did you have to maybe put aside some stuff? Did you have to, take some time off from going with your friends? Like, what was some of the stuff you took off to really focus on your career and achieving better goals?
Well, I think starting off at a young age, like, it was weekends where I'd have to go compete. And instead of going to my friends' birthday parties, I would have to go to a different state and travel with my mom, with my coaches, to get my competition, to, hopefully get to the next competition and get better, and then get to nationals and get to where I wanted to be. So making sacrifices at a young age, waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, was not a normal thing.
Wow, did you guys hear that? Waking up in 4 in the morning, and how old were you doing that?
I was in like 3rd grade.
Like, I've never heard that.
10 years old, I remember like being up, awake, doing my training, and then luckily my rink was close to my school. It was in elementary school, so 5 minutes away, went to the school, and then became a normal kid for those hours. And then instead of after school activities, I went back to the rink, off ice conditioning, training, all of that. And yeah, like definitely made a lot of sacrifices, but without the sacrifices, you can't be successful.
Do you think that, were you intimidating by, because I know me and you were talking about it, but were you intimidating by some sort of like friends maybe telling you like, why would you think you will do it? Like, is it even worth it? Like all those, doubts and questions, how you were able to put them on the side and stay focused on yourself?
Yeah, I think there were a lot of people that just didn't understand me and understand what it meant to have a goal. When you're young, there's not really much a normal kid does, is just wake up, play, have play dates, hang out with their friends, learn multiplication. And so I was like an oddball at growing up around other people. So having people that didn't understand you was kind of hard, but the thing that drove me was knowing that like I was bettering myself, and the people that are around me that supported me, or my support system, understood that goal for me, and the people that didn't are no longer in my life, no longer were my friends. And when you're younger, that's definitely hard to like mentally to challenge yourself to be like, oh, I want to fit in, I want to be cool, but what is cooler, getting a gold medal, being #1 in the United States, or going to your friend's birthday party and like, hanging out? And like that at a young age is really hard to differentiate
yourself, I guess, no?
Yes. So making that choice at a young age is like how I grew as a person, and I think gave me the tools and resources to be successful today as well.
Do you think the stuff that you did in the past helping you in today's days and like your today's goals?
Yeah, I think they're a foundation of being hardworking, dedication, time management, goal setting, and being determined to get to where you want to be. So, a lot of people set their resolution every year, 2025, this is going to be my year, these are my goals. But if you have a goal every single day for yourself, you get 1% better, that's how you get to greatness.
Wow. Guys, this is not a joke here. This is a girl who done a lot of stuff in her life. So I want to ask you, so you mentioned the people that doing a lot of, New Year resolution, as you called it, and New Year goal. So why does a lot of time it doesn't work? It's just like something that people kind of dream and they put it into a board. Why do you think it doesn't work most of the time?
I think that it doesn't work because you get distracted by the other things that consume you, and being able to take time and be like, this time is my morning workout, I'm gonna get better, I'm gonna get stronger. This time is for work, I'm gonna make sure this time is meant to do this, and this. And then this time I have for my friends, and really be able to have like a set time for each and everything that is a priority for yourself.
So do you make like a daily goals or like a weekly goal or a monthly goal, or is more like a specific goal doesn't like?
I think you should make goals long-term and short-term. So in the month, you have a goal of doing this and this, but in your 5-year goal, in your 1-year goal, that's a bigger thing. You can't reach the 5-year goal if you don't make those decisions daily to get there. 1% better every day is how you get to that 5-year goal. Rome wasn't built in a day, so you have to take it day by day, one day at a time, have small little goals throughout your day that ultimately get you to that big dream.
I love it. What would you tell to the audience that kind of listen to it and they want to be in your position, they want to be goal-oriented, but they stuck? They can't really get there, like things doesn't work for them.
I think people have to realize the only person in their way is themselves. So if you have a mental block, you have something, you just don't have the energy, you don't have the motivation, you visualize where you want to be. Some people don't know what that is. So first, the most important thing is finding exactly what you want, how you want it. Manifesting that is throughout your day, you decide what that is and you go after it. But without having a goal, setting a goal for yourself, there's no direction, there's no motivation because you don't have anything to look forward to.
Wow.
So making sure you set a goal that leaves you to get motivated, and that ultimately gets you out of the house, doing what you need to do because you have that vision for yourself.
So how would you able to describe, like, I guess my question is, have you always wanted something in your life, or was your goals kind of were changing throughout your years?
I think definitely changing over the years. You know, after I won my first national gold medal, I realized that there was some other goals I wanted to achieve, like being able to be sociable, making my social skills better, because for so long growing up, I was no longer around a lot of friends. I was around my coaches, my parents, my family, but being able to like grow into myself today, after I had that goal, I decided, okay, I'm gonna take the rest of my years, college, the rest of my high school, and explore that and have goals to become like better speaker, better just communicating, things that I knew were gonna have to be important in my adult life. So making that a priority after I won and achieved what I wanted was my next goal. And so I think it's ever changing. And now I no longer am a competitive athlete, but I had a goal of continuing to evolve in the fitness space. So that took me into getting my solid core certification.
Congrats on that.
Thank you. So I'm working now at Solid Core and immersing myself in the fitness space in a different time. And it's always an evolution. Definitely when I was 17 years old, I didn't probably expect myself to become working at Solid Core, a Pilates studio that's expanding massively, but you take it and you evolve with it.
I like it. You know what's crazy? That the last CEO I was telling you about, Mike Papa, shout out to him, he said that in life you just need to pivot. Sometimes if stuff going well, maybe you want to stay in it, but if stuff doesn't go well and you want to maybe pivot to a different route, you should always do that. Yeah. So I want to ask you, in your life, were you, like let's say in the beginning when you focus on, the ice skating, how you were able to just focus on that and not to focus on other stuff? Like me personally, sometimes I want to focus on one thing, but I found myself focused on like 4 things at once. So it looks like you were able to just focus on that, and you always like have a specific goals that you're working on, but you doesn't really change it when you're working on that specific goal. How are you able to do that?
I think it's like you have a checklist. So it's like your first goal, like if that's the first thing on your list, it's your first priority, you do that. Once you're there, you can check out what's your next goal. And maybe after you do the first goal, you can pivot and say, okay, actually my next goal is something else. And that's kind of what I did. I was like, my number one goal is to become a champion. That's always been my dream. I did it. And then after that, my goal was to become more of a sociable person and have friends. And, that's also very important in someone's life, like being able to have a support system, a group of friends that they can talk to, laugh with, expand being someone that's comfortable like talking on camera with something like this. And so my goal pivoted from after being like an athlete was more about personal growth. And you can take one thing at a time, and after you achieve that, you decide, okay, what's next? Maybe you have 5 things you want to do, 5 goals, but do one at a time, because that's ultimately how you can decide what's your next move. If you do day by day, one thing at a time, that's like one of the best advice I've ever got. I remember I was competing, and my coach looked at me, and I had 7 jumps in the program, and she goes, just think about 1 jump at a time. Don't think about you're about to do 7 in a row. Think about 1 at a time. And that program that I did was one of my favorite, and I got through it thinking, okay, I had this jump. Now I landed it. Great. In 30 seconds, I have the next jump. But thinking about things can get very overwhelming if you have so many things you want to do. So
sometimes doing the specific stuff can help you a lot more.
Yes, just thinking one thing at a time, because otherwise you get overwhelmed. You want to achieve greatness, but what do you want to achieve? One thing at a time. Do this, 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 and this, but don't do it all at once. And that's like the ultimate way you can decide on how to evolve your goals, how to get things done, and not get distracted.
I love it. I love it. I'm actually, it's so inspiring because, like, let's be honest, there's not a lot of girls, especially in our age, like you and me, that have the same mentality that you have. Mm-hmm. So my next question is, obviously you had a lot of success in your life, in sport, in what you're doing right now. So I'm sure you dealt with a lot of jealousy from other people, from your friends, girlfriends, whatever, especially in the beginning. How you were able to deal with that, but also how you were able to do not let it affect you?
I think keeping your circle small is so important, protecting your energy, making sure you're around people that genuinely have your best interests in mind. And, you surround yourself with so many people, but in reality, are they wishing you greatness? Sometimes they're not, and they have this facade. They want to be around you, but in reality, they don't want the best for you. So really finding your core people that are a support system is crucial, because you can't flow your ideas with them. You can't bounce off each other's energy when there's, jealousy there, because in reality, they might tell you something to do the opposite in spite of you. So making sure you have a core, tight group of people that are the people you talk to about your problems, your ideas, your dreams, and actually being genuine is really important. And of course, when you're successful, there are going to be people that are jealous, but not letting them take your energy, control how you are, because that's what they want at the end of the day. If they're jealous, they want to have what you have and bring you down. So just rising above it is just how you have to take it and keep your circle small. In
your years, I guess when you kind of started to seeing success, were you changing your environment throughout the years, like changing your friends, changing who you are, or maybe just deciding to go with people that achieve more than you at that time? Like, talk to the audience about that.
I think the 5 people you surround yourself with are the most important people, the 5 closest to you. Because if you're surrounded around people that like to party and drink and be crazy, that's what you're going to be doing every weekend. If you're around people that want to go to the gym at 6 a.m. and take a workout class with you, or, expand your goals, or talk business ideas, that's who you're going to be around. That's the person you're going to become. So keeping your circle close with the people that are either above you or have the same goals, like-minded, are how you keep your circle safe and keep growing. But if you have people in your life that are not genuine, not want your best interest, or they don't have the same goals as you, you can fall into falling into a path that you don't want.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. So I want to ask you, it's a bit different topic, but I want us to kind of, talk to the audience about it. Why do you think there's a lot of girls, especially in the 23, 24, kind of 25 years old, that are not so much motivated like you, that are not seeking to build a business or seeking to build some type of career, and they're just looking for the easier route, maybe to open an OnlyFans account, maybe to just find somebody that will provide them with anything. Like, why they're not looking for greatness for themselves?
I think that stems back to self-worth. And looking for validation from someone else is, you know, something that someone insecure needs. They need the validation that they feel secure. So finding your own self-worth is how you start building the foundation. And listen, if you are given a piece of land and it's dirt, no one's gonna wanna see the dirt. No one's gonna wanna visit your land. But if you build your garden, you build yourself, you grow it, you nurture it, then you'll be around people that you want to be with, that admire you, and you attract other great people. Everyone's gonna wanna look at your garden full of flowers and beautiful plants, but if you don't nurture yourself, it's just gonna be a piece of dirt. And what's that to anyone? You don't add any value to anyone's life, and you don't have security within yourself. So like growing within yourself, I think is the most important thing. And of course, we're living in Miami where people do take the easy way out by maybe, you know, doing OnlyFans or something like that. But in reality, every woman is capable of achieving greatness. They just have to push themselves and grow, not seeking male validation, not seeking validation from their friends, but really take it within yourself to be like, I want to grow, I want to be the best version, even if that takes a longer amount of time, even if I have to take a whole year before I start generating income. It's better than doing something, taking the easy way out where, you know, later on you have guilt or you feel, I don't like what I'm doing, I don't like who I am as an individual. And like knowing that if you work on yourself, it will pay off in the long run.
By the way, Ilana is offering mentorship for everybody that wants to come. No, I'm joking, but like, wow, I'm really inspiring because like, to me, like, to be honest, like, I don't know, I feel like especially here in Miami, a lot of girls don't see what you just said, like in the last minute. Like, I felt it's so important, but I don't see why a lot of girls don't see what you're seeing. And I want them to kind of see that they can get all of this stuff. But I really feel that sometimes they don't believe in themselves.
Yeah.
So why do you think a lot of girls just automatically do not believe in themselves?
That's a whole situation where I think there's so many standards that women like think they need to be for a man. And in reality, if you take everyone out of the equation and you just look at yourself and you decide, okay, what do I want to be? Who am I as a person? What makes me happy? And doing those things, doing those hobbies, working out, working on yourself, you're going to attract the right man. A lot of people are upset with themselves. Oh, I can't find my dream man. I can't find someone that is successful, because in reality, you need to be successful. No one's going to want to be with you if you're not successful.
I love it. I'm kind of the same mentality. Like for me, I always look at myself like, okay, am I the best version of myself? Like, am I where I want to be? Because if not, like, why somebody else will want to be with me if I'm not there yet too?
Of course.
So I feel like it's similar to, it doesn't matter, like you're a guy, you're a girl, whatever.
Yeah.
So why do you think that there's a lot of people, and I'm talking about the general crowd right now, that have these goals, you know, like they want to accomplish a certain stuff in a couple of years, but they're feeling stuck and they're having like a bad environment? What would you tell them in terms of like changing their environments for the good?
I think changing environment is so important if you feel stuck or unhappy where you are, knowing that there's probably somewhere better you're supposed to be. And not saying that New York was a bad place, but I knew that my soul belonged down in Florida, and changing my environment. I was living in New York City, it was cold, there was just not a great environment for me to be in, like, for my goals, which were expanding fitness, like waking up, having the sun around. And I decided after I graduated college that I was gonna move to a whole new city, and changing that environment blossomed me into growing myself, nurturing it, and putting myself where I wanna be. Once you're in a place where you have a good environment around you, it's so easy to then feel motivated to do your goals, to get up every day, because sometimes, yeah, it's the environment around you that is bringing you down, but taking yourself out of the equation, figuring out where you think you want to be and getting there is really important. Putting yourself in an environment of people, the place that you belong is like the foundation before you can grow. Because if you're not happy and you don't have any motivation, how are you going to get your goals? Like, so moving to Miami for me personally was that situation where my environment changed, and I felt like I started having all these new opportunities and growth, and it's been amazing since moving here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So for you, obviously, Miami move was like a change in your life, right?
Yeah.
For the better.
Yeah.
I mean, you change your environment, you change your energy. So I wanted you to talk about, you know, about like the people that are looking at this podcast and they might be the same situation. They doesn't really like where they are right now. And they might live even in Florida, but they don't live in their, you know, like their dream apartment or whatever. And they thinking about this move, but they're like just skeptical about it. What would you tell them? Like, I see that for you it's been really working.
Yeah. If you are unhappy where you are right now, take a deep breath, visualize where you want to be, and ask yourself, what's the first step of getting there? How can you do that? Maybe, yeah, you don't have the money to get there, you don't have the people around you to get there yet, but what's the first thing you can do? Is work on yourself. Say, I can't change my environment now, but what's the first way I can get there? And decide that. And I think each person's situation is different, so it can't be necessarily like a specific, but you think, okay, what's my first step to get to where I want to be, to get to my dream apartment that has a penthouse looking over all of Miami? Not that like that's everyone's dream, but like for a lot of people in Miami, like a Brickell, New York City apartment.
It's definitely my dream.
Wherever it is, you know? And how do you get there? Well, maybe that means waking up an hour earlier every day and going online, doing research, maybe finding role models to look at, see how they did it, see people that you look up to, and get inspired, and take that first step to be where you want to be. Again, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
You can't get there in a day. It takes time. So also setting maybe, again, short-term goals and long-term goals, maybe even a 5-year plan. Okay, by my first year, I'm going to have this done. By my second year, I'm going to make this amount of money that I can afford to move there. Maybe it's not your penthouse Brickell apartment yet, but it's
getting close to
a
it.
studio apartment in Brickell where, you know, you're getting closer to the people around you that have the same goals as you, or you surround yourself with a mentor who does have that dream that you have, or you're selling real estate and you have, you know, a mentor above you that's selling $1 billion and you're only selling $1 million, but you're getting there, you know what I mean? So again, everything is time. It's so crucial to realize you can't just get everything you want at once. It's a slow progression, and reminding yourself of that bigger goal that you'll always have in the back of your mind, taking it day by day.
Wow, I love it. What do you think about relationships, especially in our age right now?
Yeah.
Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think girls especially needs to wait until they're kind of like okay with where they are today? Does they need to push for it? What is your take on that?
I think that there are two ways that women see themselves in relationships. One is getting married to a successful man and just being a housewife, and that's okay. But sometimes there are people that want more than that. They want the career. They want to build themselves. And I think the best thing is if you want to achieve greatness, you want to attract greatness, you should first decide on your career, if that's something you want to grow, whether that's something as small as being a successful artist or being a, you know, musician, or, you know, selling real estate. You have that goal, and becoming passionate, being obsessed with it, being motivated to do it every single day, having that love and drive, you will attract someone with the same energy. So if you're someone who doesn't have to work, lazy, sitting on your butt, you don't do much, yeah, you can find a guy who's successful, but by the time a few years later, he might get bored, or you might get bored in the situation because you don't have any of your own passions or goals.
I like
So
it.
I think you have to decide on being passionate about something. And once you feel passionate, even if it's something as small and you're not generating all this money, but it's something you're passionate and you love it, people admire that in you, and they want to surround yourself with other people like that, whether that's a relationship with someone who has similar goals or just all around good friends, good people. So I think making sure that you're passionate about something will keep you in a good relationship to find someone that also is passionate about something else or the same passion, where you guys can grow together and build like a future. But without having any goals, any hobbies, any passions, sometimes relationships are tricky, because if that one person's making all that money, doing all this work, and you're just there at home,
It's not interesting.
it's not interesting. And you know, your passion could be homemaking too. Like your passion could be like making beautiful like dinners for the family, or, you know, interior design, or like it doesn't necessarily have to be something super like income generating.
I agree.
You can just have a passion and be, you know.
So it's so interesting because, for example, I was at Leave the other day at the club, and I
Yeah.
was talking randomly. So we were talking, me and my friend, with these two girls, and I was actually, you know, we just had a conversation. I was saying, like, what is your goal? Like, what is your goal in life? And she said, like, well, I just want to find somebody that kind of will pay for everything I need, and I'm just going to be a home wife. I was like, all right, but what is your goal? Just like, yeah, I just want to be home. And I was just like thinking to myself, like, so you telling me right now, like, that is your dream goal, is just to be home the whole day? Like, I just got like upset, and I told her, like, that's crazy. Like, to me, I think you should have like some sort of like a passion or goal. She was like, no, I just want somebody to take care of me, and we'll travel and do this. So why do you think girls can be caught up to that?
I think because they think that that's the easy way out. And in reality, you can do that. You can build a home. You can stay at home, but at least be passionate about it. Like, if you want to be a stay-at-home wife, that's okay. But go to Pilates. Do something.
Like, don't
that-
just sit in the house.
Have some
yeah.
hobbies. Maybe pick up pickleball. Like, do something that makes you happy and want to wake up in the morning with energy, looking forward to even just the small little things.
I just feel like there's a lot of women, and don't get me wrong, like, I respect all of them. It's hard to be a mom, like, I get it. But that's their thing. They're like, oh, just tell you, like, hey, I'm a mom. Like, I'm already like, to me, just like, they're missing the point. Like, they're saying, yeah, I'm a mom. I have kids to grow up, which I understand. But like, once they're getting older and they can go to school and this and that, like, I'm sure you have time to find something you can do for yourself.
Yeah, especially if, you know, you have kids and they start growing, they have their own passions. You have time during the day to like do something that makes you happy, going on a walk, going outside, keeping yourself busy so that you, if you want to be a stay-at-home wife and mother, that's fine, but like still having those small little things that make you happy.
I agree.
And romanticizing your life, making your passions like reality, going to do the things that make you happy, and you can still be a mother, be a parent, and I hope to be a mother one day and still have all my hobbies and still be able to balance kids and the things I love to do as an individual.
I love it. What do you think some of the stuff that help you in your life in days or like seasons that stuff didn't go like perfect for you?
Things that, obviously nothing is perfect. As much as I preach, you know, wanting
Perfections.
greatness, being a perfectionist, you know, there are times where I find myself, okay, maybe this didn't work out. And as we talked about, pivoting, deciding, okay, if this doesn't work out, you can always try again. It's better to fail than never try. So you'll never know what you can do unless you try. So whether that's in my Pilates classes and I'm telling someone, maybe try this amplification. You can do this instead of being on your knees for this plank. Try one push-up on your toes and see how it feels. You'll never know if you don't try. And I'll see so many of my clients, hop up and just do one because you know what? They decided, I'm going to take that within myself and try. So taking the motivation to put yourself out there, try, and if you fail, at least you tried, at least you tried doing something to better yourself. And like, whether that's just like small in my Pilates class or that's, starting a business and failing.
That's a real life lesson right here.
Yeah, it's as small as like taking an amplification at solid core, but it's as big as, starting a business and then having it fail and you have to re-transition, maybe starting a different one. You learn from that mistake and the next business you build is an empire, multi-million-dollar empire. And, that's like a really good life lesson that I take in everything you do. You never know if you don't try.
Wow. So talking to you, I don't know, in the last 47 minutes here, it seems like you're not afraid from failures.
Yes.
And it's something you're like kind of preaching and talking about. Like, how are you able to just not being afraid of that? Like, just keep on going, not even think about those stuff.
Yeah. I mean, when you fail, like for my first nationals, I remember being young and I was 10 years old or maybe 12 years old and I didn't win. And I remember being so upset, but okay, there's always next year. So yes, the first year I got 8th place. The next year I got 6th place. The next year I got 5th place. The next year I got 3rd place. But I didn't quit the first time. I could have quit the sport. All right, I'm done. I didn't win. I'm out of here. I'm never going to put my skates on ever again. Instead, you decide that, you always can keep growing and trying and just keep trying at anything you want to do, those goals that seem unattainable. You can try, keep trying, keep going, because I promise you, you will get there once you try just a little bit more.
Wow. What do you think success means to you? Like, what a success is for you?
Success is different for everyone. Success is not just, some people see it as making all this money, I'm successful, because that gives me opportunity to, travel the world, see the things I want to do. Some people, for athletes, see success as winning that national gold medal, being the #1 in the whole country, in the whole world. So success is basically the foundation of hard work. And success is getting to that finish line. You run a whole marathon, you're successful if you reach that last mile and you get to that finish line. Being successful is different for each and every person, whether that's someone setting a goal that they're going to make $1 million this year, or whether that's a goal set, I'm going to run a marathon that's almost 27 miles. Success is getting to that goal. Success is being successful.
I love it. What do you think, looking back at your life, what would you think, is there like something that you would have changed or do differently?
I try living with no regrets, but if I could change differently, I think keeping my circle small and making sure that my support system was always filled with the best, most intentional people. I'm so lucky I had amazing parents, amazing family that was always supportive. But having good coaches, having good mentors, having good friends, that's something that you can't really control because you're just navigating through life, the people that come and go. But if I could change one thing, it was having an amazing support system from the start, which luckily enough, I did have my family, which were, but maybe some of those other people like mentors or coaches that always had my best intention, or friends in my life that weren't trying to prey on my downfall or be jealous or like tell me the wrong things because they were in spite of me or wanted to compete with me secretly. And so if there's one thing that could change was probably just keeping and having my circle pure with the best intentions.
I love it. What is your biggest challenge other than like your career in the skating, and like if you're looking back at your life, what would you say like, wow, that was a big challenge for myself?
I think there are so many challenges. One challenge obviously was, winning a national medal. That was probably one of the biggest hurdles. I also had an injury that happened to me right before I got the gold. So I was training with these coaches that really wanted me to get this jump and put me in a position where I was injuring myself, trying something where I was doing over and over, trying to land, and I ended up injuring my back.
Wow.
And I had to be off the ice for 3 to 6 months, which was terrible because it was during like competing season and I had to take time off. So having set me back where I knew every single day my competitors were going to be skating or on the ice or, getting better, and I was getting 1% less every day was driving me insane, to the point where I got back on the ice after that injury. I had all the physical therapy, all of the training, and then the year after I won the national gold medal.
That's crazy.
So that setback, in looking back at it, in the moment I was like, why did this happen to me? I'm so upset at my circumstances. There's nothing I can do. I'm helpless. I can't train. I can't do what I love. I'm stuck off the ice, home, in physical therapy. But if you take a challenge and you fuel it in your body as, okay, well, I'm going to get back and I'm going to get better. And this is just going to make me stronger. Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It ultimately was the best thing to happen, because then I got back on the ice. I was even more motivated. I was fresh. It felt amazing. And I reached my ultimate goal that I had when I was little.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Looking like, if you look back at your life and everything that you were able to achieve, what is the one thing that you will leave the audience with?
If there's one thing that I could leave everyone with, is making sure you do what you love. Whether that's passions, hobbies, work, do what you love, whatever is calling to you, not what your parents want to tell you to do, not what your friends are doing. What do you want to do? And do that, because then you'll never feel like you have to work a day in your life, and you'll wake up motivated, feeling like the best version of yourself.
Wow. Guys, I just hope you guys getting inspired. I mean, this is a national champion. Like, you guys see it. It's a girl that like doesn't stop. Always want to achieve more and always looking for more. And that's how you guys should be. And that's why I'm doing this podcast, is I want to bring you guys people like Ilana that are just always looking to inspire others, but also looking to inspire themselves, because you have to understand that if you doesn't inspire yourself, or if you doesn't get better with yourself, there is no way you can get better, like others to get better with you. And so I really hope you guys enjoyed the episode today. Ilana, thank you so much for coming. How they can find you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Ilana Sedka, and yeah, we can chat if you have any goals, you want to tell me your story. I'm always open ears, love hearing inspiring things, and hope to keep inspiring the next generation as well.
I love it. And so guys, if you enjoyed this show, make sure you guys subscribe, make sure you guys like this episode, comment, whatever you want. Feel free to always follow Tom Talk Success on Instagram and Tom Grobman on my Instagram. I have all my episodes there, all my links. And I'm looking forward to see you guys on the next episode.